What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review a 2010 mixtape by Meek Mill. Basically, this product is called Mr. Philadelphia, and it came out in the summer of 2010. So the thing about this product here, around this time in like the early 2010s, late 2000s, Meek Mill was particularly signed to T.I.'s Grand Hustle label, pitches like that. Now, I'm not as full-bound sure as to how long he was signed to that particular label. It's been a little bit since I've full-bound touched base with Meek Mill. I did review basically Dreamchasers 3 not too long ago in like the spring of 2024. I really reviewed quite a few Meek Mill projects like in the mid 2010s when I first started this channel. Pitches like that, Dreamchasers 1 and like Dreams and Nightmares, Dreams Worth More Than Money, some of those pitches. Then later on in 2023 I reviewed Dreamchasers 2. So I reviewed most of the Rick Ross affiliated stuff, the 3 self-made volumes, the first initial few Meek Mill projects up to about wins and losses from 2017. So I've covered quite a bit, but yeah, I know that there's more and I need to get to a lot of this. But this particular one with this particular offshoot vacay that's been happening within the post, like I talked about in the community post, there's been some ones that I've been catching up with as far as touching base with requests and folks that had particularly asked in the past as far as what's first going to happen. Now, this was not a request, but this is one that I downloaded from Datpiff back when it was still around back in 2022, and I was always going to get around to getting to, but I just never did back in those days. So fall of 2022, winter 2023, 2024, some of those type pitches. I eventually did wind up reviewing Dreamchasers 3 sooner, the one that I had on my computer longer, but luckily this mixtape is still available, which is some excellent type pitches. I got around to it now, but this is a pretty awesome type mixtape within those pitches in a lot of senses. Like, I do thoroughly enjoy the 3 Dreamchasers volumes, but this has a lot of that mixtape grit as well, and there are some previous ones, like Meek Mill also dropped like a series of Flamers mixtapes. There are some ones later that had like some retail mixtape type appeal. Some of the Flamers projects wound up being for purchase, but this particular project is like an offshoot, and this was like probably, I think, one of the projects that caught Rick Ross's attention, that caused Rick Ross to sign Meek Mill to Maybach Music in early 2011. So it's just pitched like that because just a year later in August of 2011 he wound up putting out Dreamchasers 1, which was definitely a smash hit and a Datpiff classic. But this one, I would say, probably like the album before the album, or at least the mixtape before the mixtape, that is a pretty good buzzing classic, which I would definitely say has just as much appeal. And basically out of 23 songs, which is pretty beefy for like a mixtape within those pitches, I recommend every song minus one. So it's just the pitch as far as saying it's 23 straight songs, so 22 out of 23 easily enough. This mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. Just would have to say, filled with mixtape grit, some of those type bangers, just with the pitch behind it. Now, interestingly enough, despite the fact that Meek Mill was on Grand Hustle, you don't really get that many T.I. affiliated type folks on here. Doesn't really have that particular type conduct. I like the fact that Young Chris, who was also on Meek Mill's breakout single from 2011, House Party, some of those type pitches, he's at least on here. He's apparently also on Where They Do That At, some of those type pitches, but for the most part, you could barely tell that this is T.I. affiliated. Really, the only song that T.I. is really on is just Rose Red Remix, which was also a hit single from one of Meek Mill's 2010 mixtapes, which I'm going to get to later. So we'll get to that one at some stage. That one, I think, was off of Flamers 3, so I'm going to get to that one because that was another 2010 mixtape, which had some pretty good appeal. So I look after it just within the tone, saying just real excellent aspects about this tape here. But I looked up to see the promotion about this product, and apparently there were a series of singles off this mixtape as far as what's going to happen, just looking within the pitch. Some of which were, at least according to like the Google AI, as far as those pitches can happen. But I look within the tone as far as saying there were some of these that were also released that were part of mixtape type. There were some songs that were mixtape type songs, like Drake's song that he did with Nicki Minaj. I forget what that song is called. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty Drake oriented within the pitch. Just particularly Love My Team, which I forget the name of that song, but it has Nicki Minaj off of Thank Me Later. I might put in the connotation. Hard in the Paint was apparently a single, which is just a freestyle to Walk Fox, Hard in the Paint, and then Miss Me to Drake's Thank Me Later. So Meek Mill was pretty good pals with Drake back in the early days as far as what's first going to happen. They did eventually have like a beef in like the mid 2010s, but they patched things up as far as what's first going to happen. But yeah, this one is just that same typical type mixtape grit. If you appreciate Dreamchasers quite a bit, which is an easy kind of Datpiff and mixtape classic out of the 2010s pitches like that, if you're going to fuck with mixtapes, I would definitely say Dreamchasers 1 is an excellent starting point to get into that lore as far as what's first going to happen. But this is like, this particular mixtape, the only thing about this one compared to like Dreamchasers is just the fact that this doesn't really have a charting single, but it's just on the pitch. I do feel like the songs off this product have a little bit more fun factor about them compared to the fact that Meek Mill was just kind of been more more. Meek Mill is just kind of in more floss type mode within the pitch of this, like trying to capitalize on like his success that he found with Rick Ross. But this particular one does have like an LMFAO style song on here, which is pretty interesting. Has like some good has like a good Middle Eastern bounce type song on here, has some of these type moments, pitches like that. So a lot of the turn up type moments, Meek Mill's a little bit more expressive. Meek Mill is a little bit more expressive on this product as far as like the turn up on here. Like Dreamchasers 1, like I just got done saying, Dreamchasers 1 definitely had some of those type of appeals, but it was just the pitch as far as saying that particular one was just not quite as recreational full bound. I mean, apart from House Party and maybe like one or two other ones, this one just has a little bit more blistering type aspects with like the full bound kind of get crunk type aspect. This one's a little bit more of a blitzer. But yeah, I'll just talk about the 3 singles here. So the 3 singles that were released, original songs, pitches like that, would be Hate Is My Motivator, Indian Bounce, and Lego. So Hate Is My Motivator is like a classic early 2010s mixtape grit to kind of get here, just a stock kind of starry bustle tune, and I'd say within aspects of it, just some late shift fun as far as those first gaps. So Dislike, plenty of songs off of Dreamchasers 1, some of those type pitches, just some of those particular type fares. I mean, I could list some of these, but it's just kind of within the pitch as far as saying, I guess to say at least one of them. Yeah, particularly dislike the song Get This Money off of Dreamchasers 1. So it's just pitches like that, you know, that typical kind of mixtape grit. Plenty of folks have done this. Like Rob Level and Yo Gotti and Rick Ross, folks like that. Just pitches to some of those particular type fares. Plenty of these folks, just typical kind of star type conduct, this easy kind of Datpiff mixtape grit, like the particular tone about that one, just banner type appeal. Indian Bounce is another single off this project, so this has like a nice Middle Eastern kind of rumbler vibe about it within those pitches. Just kind of a traveled get crunk type tune, I'd say here. Pretty crazy within the aspect behind it. Definitely a good smoke kit touch song. It's like a good dope mixtape song is definitely like a dope mixtape gem to kind of get here. Probably could have been on an album. I would have said within some of those type pitches, this would have been an excellent type song to throw on Dreams and Nightmares, some of those type aspects within the tone behind it. It's just kind of a curveball type tune. Indian Bounce just has some real tasteful appeal about it within those aspects as far as the sharp factor of it kind of goes. So it's just good type pitch, just immediate type one. Lego is the 3rd single. It's a nice one as well. It's like a feeling slizzard kind of night outing Lego is like a feeling slizzard kind of night outing primer to kind of get within these aspects. It's kind of the tone by night outing primer, I mean within the pitch as far as saying just getting ready to get crunk, some of those type moments of just the excitement of probably like 7:45, 8:15, some of those type pitches, but not so much within the product of getting ready to get fucked up later, but actually having some of that in your system now, just kind of within the pitch of feeling nice, but going to feel better consistently within the tone. Just some routine fun to kind of get here. Good song to primp, pinch it. Good song to primp and get ready, pitches like that, some of those particular type of appeals, call up crowds, I'd have to say within those aspects, figure out what's going to happen as far as like the aspect of what's getting ready to go down, and just like some easy kind of loud back pitches like that. So this pretty glitzy within the aspect here. This, like I was saying, that Meek Mill is just a little bit more in pizzazz type mode within the pitch behind it. He was a little bit more focused on Dreamchasers within the aspect as far as reaching like the conduct of getting to more money pitches like that. But I do like the aspect of a lot of these songs. Indian Bounce and Lego are some nice ones, and some of these go along with songs like Throw It Back and Bricks, some of those type ones that have some further kind of blitzing. So just the kind of the conduct, but you know, like I was saying, so every song off this mixtape I recommend minus the song Banned from TV. Now, I've heard this particular mixtape song before. It feels, I mean, this is one that feels like typical kind of mid-2000s mixtape type lore within pitches like that. It feels like some sort of Don Cannon beat, just without, that wasn't actually produced by Don Cannon, but just feels like, I do fuck with these folks from the East Coast, but it just feels like a Styles P kind of leftover that just didn't have as much full-bound pizzazz. I think this is probably like a good East Coast kind of typical kind of Wu-Tang and just more lyricist kind of bravado type song within pitch. And it's not that Meek Mill doesn't match this song, but I don't know, the production, the triumphancy about that particular song has like its particular appeal, but it just didn't seem as matching for Meek Mill to kind of do that one. He just feels more at home on some of these mixtape type gems within the star type grid of it and pitches like that. Just wasn't, definitely feel like someone like My Zone, Jadakiss, Styles P, some of those type folks, probably within certain senses, trying to think of some other folks that could kind of do it. Cameron, definitely Votto, some of those type folks, but it just didn't feel as home fitting for like particularly Meek Mill, I'd have to say. Look after this, just gem after gem on here. So yeah, this mixtape is 10 out of 10. So throwbacks, the real immediate ones, like a nice spice of early 2010s EDM and LMFAO styled house party blitzers, kind of get within these aspects. Easy kind of red cup type music within the tone. So this is just one that's kind of a little bit more crazy type factor. This is really get hammered type one. When you think of songs like House Party by Meek Mill from Dreamchasers, that was definitely like a banner type one and like an aspect of like a kind of mixtape single. But this particular one probably could have been a single as well. This has like enough chart appeal where this is just a get crazy type factor. When people hear this song, it's not even like it needs an introduction as far as this first album. This is just easy type one where you know it's going to get crazy. some pitches like that. Bricks is a quality one as well as like a trap back jumping kind of type heat to kind of get within these aspects. This raw and ready kind of Datpiff banger, I'd say within the aspects here. It just feels like it needs Yo Gotti, some of those type folks. This just feels like one of those songs ripped out of late 2011, 2012, some of those type pitches like that typical kind of Datpiff floor within those aspects behind this easy kind of more trap centric type fare. So just an easy, so just a stock kind of highlight within those conducts about it, I'd have to say. Light Up a Candle is a quality one within some of those type pitches. It's like a nice malaise ode to like the fallen and forlorn pitches like that, I had to say. Meek Mill and like some Tupac gloom and kind of like a Datpiff sense as far as what's first comes. So just good type pitch, bringing some of that street soldier malaise type mentality to like a Datpiff type form. It's just a good product to get some of that particular conduct of it, because Meek Mill has that same sort of feisty type energy as Tupac, but it's just not as commonplace that there were many odes to Tupac back in like those mixtape type days of Datpiff. So it's just good type pitch to get some of that gloom about it. It's kind of in like the life goes on type fashion, picture me rolling type fashion. Some of those type products just in 2010 instead. So it's a good type pitch. Where they do that is a nice one. Now, when I was talking about me not recommending that song, I was talking about not recommending the song Banned from TV as far as those pitches go. I would kind of say that where they do that's a more affable type one with some of that East Coast kind of candor about it. It's like a city strut, kind of smog traffic, and a Miss Aaron or snack run type music kind of get within these aspects. This is kind of some tasty dredge. So it's just the pitch. Feels like something Freeway and some of those type folks would be on. Freeway, Memphis, Bleak, Jay-Z, and like a real low-key type sense. Some of those particular type aspects is kind of the tone as far as saying it's just a more ground level kind of stuck in traffic amidst like taxi cabs and horns and sirens. Some of those type pitch just within the typical smog of like neighborhood fairs. Just kind of, just easy kind of get some stuff done pitches like that. Just kind of pick up some snack cakes or just some goodies, Burger King, some of those type pitches. Real interesting and excellent highlight on here would be Dope Boys, like a woozy and distorted kind of night commerce kind of get within these aspects. It's the head trip kind of definitely feeling within pitches like that. It's kind of one that has some smokes in your system. Head trip fun pitches like that. Just kind of some out and about kind of prime wide awake type fare. So just when I say prime wide awake, just the aspect of disc having some feel good type vibes with some pitch, just the enjoyment factor, just kind of that glissy type feeling with an aspect, just like night surfing, some of that particular type product, but just kind of it's kind of vanilla commerce within some type pitches, just out and about, but also some good snack run type music. This is just some plain and kind of vanilla commerce pitches like that, but just kind of in an excitement type sense, and also like a good product to just like good product of like some night surfing, some of those particular type products that just goody runs some of those aspects of just like the wake type factor. So just excellent excitement, just a good nice one for like a just an early bird kind of earlier in the night. I'd say maybe 7:45, 8:15 pitches like that before getting to songs like Lego and Indian Bounce and Throwback, some of those type pitches, but just good type product. Bullet What You Name is a nice one. It's like a glissy kind of feeling froggy and motivated kind of night surf to kind of get here. Just a basic commerce routine as far as those first comes. So this one's just similar to ones like Hate Is My Motivator, Ain't Gonna Sleep, Ball, and some of those type pitches. A lot of these do have like a particular similar type format to like Get This Money off of Dreamchasers one as far as those pitches kind of having just a miss like that kind of this excitement, just a miss like that glissy and starry kind of excited like some pitches that just like it being 7:45 pitches are done. Some of that type fair just get into like the conduct of like get into like the conduct, like the aspect of figuring out how things are going to pop off within like the things are going to pop off within like the demon time. So it's just good type pitches, just banger after banger with some of these. Another one that's within that product, like I was saying, would be Ain't Gonna Sleep. It's like an early bird kind of Dreamchasers type grind type tune within the pitch behind it. Just some further kind of glissy step out, definitely stock within those pitches. Excellent type of PL. It's like ready for a nightclub as far as those first kind of. So just some, it's like the product of songs like similar to songs like Lego and Hate Is My Motivator, some of those type aspects, but this works within the tone. Now there is this day shift type song. Oh yeah, there is a day shift type song within these pitches. It's not completely amidst like evening type fare, but I do like the product of this. This product is just some excellent embrace of like the reward for like the concept of a long day's hustle within some type pitches. But there are a few type ones for like the aspect of like the day shift type fare still being amidst the product of like that particular. It's not as much full bound hustlers makeshift, but it's just kind of pitch of having like maybe one or two of these within some of those stuff products. Like I do feel like Light Up a Candle is just the forlornness after a lengthy day, just kind of ode to homies. But Gotta Get It's a nice one within some of these type pitches, like a typical kind of day shift cruise around. I'd have to say just get air. Songs like a product of errands get done in like an apt sense, and by that I mean just in a timely fashion, not necessarily lagging or procrastinating pitches like that, but it's kind of some routine push as far as those first comes. So just within the pitch, Meek Mill's pretty straightforward with these. I mean, he obviously does have the hustler's grit, just with an aspect of him naming over 3 or 4 of his products after the Dreamchasers type names. So just the mode of kind of being within that mentality, just like Rick Ross is known to hustle late, Meek Mill kind of has that conduct about him as well. So it's just the pitch as far as saying it's just that Tibble type fare within it. Some of those type products. Real nice electric type one on here that probably could have been a single, as well as Hard Body. It's like a snazzy kind of electro hop, I'd say. This early 2010s kind of Datpiff stun, I'd say, within those pitches about it. This basic kind of trap push to kind of get here. Ride Hard, definitely about this song. This song knocks pretty well. So yeah, the Hard Body just has an excellent kind of snazzy aspect about it. Just a good product to really get to some stunt type appeal. Definitely glitz factor pretty high for 2010 pitches like that, so it's just a good snazzy type one. Show Out has some excellent aspects about it, as well as like a quality kind of vanilla mixtape, kind of night shift buzz, kind of get within these aspects here. Just cold stun about this particular song. Pick up supply, some of that pitches about it, just a feel good type one. So just to miss the pitch, just kind of more basic kind of in between type moments within the aspects as far as those first gonna happen. Just to miss the pitch of like same sort of pitch and vibe as songs like Bullet With Your Name and Ain't Gonna Sleep and Ballin', some of those type ones within the product of it, and Hate Is My Motivator, but just kind of more vanilla within the aspects as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just consistent kind of conduit song just within the product to figuring out what some plots are going to be and just pitch like that as far as what's first going to happen. Just the product of just getting towards the fashion of it. Another one that feels pretty similar to like Bricks, I would say, is Stuck in the Trap. It's like a glaring kind of vintage Datpiff mixtape grit. Stuck in the Trap's like a glaring kind of vintage Datpiff mixtape grizzly, kind of get within these aspects here. Just definitely Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane similar, some of those mixtape type folks with the pitch behind it. It's like some good local surf. Stuck in the Trap just feels like a typical type production that would have been by like a Yo Gotti producer, something like Mike Will made it, one of those type folks at a 2010, 2011, some of those type pitches within the format of it. And it definitely probably more of those type folks. I don't know if it would have been as full-bound Lex Luger or someone like that, but definitely within that particular mixtape, drill, and trap type variety of like 2010, 2011, some of those type formats, definitely similar within fashions to, definitely similar in fashions to Mike Will made it, some of those type pitches. So good type fare. Ballin' is a nice one, as well as this has like a similar bounce and rock hard glam to Drake's Ransom song from like the late 2000s, pitches like that. So this is a throwback type one, but excellent type appeals for it. Vintage kind of early 2010s bang within pitches like that. Just the aspect pretty litty type songs. So it's just one pitch. It's very similar to that particular format. Definitely some Drake type affluences about this product, which is pretty banner within the aspect. Just has some good type tones within the pitch. It just consistently continuing that particular, mixtape heat that Drake was a part of pitches like that and plenty of these other folks. But just from the aspect, yeah, the thing about it is Meek Mill is not really a rookie on this particular product. Just the kind of Meek Mill is not really a rookie out this particular product, despite the fact that this is on a mixtape and this is free. It's just kind of the conduct that this is pretty seamless, just the aspect as to how it nails these songs hit by hit, one by one. Despite the fact that, obviously Dreamchasers 1 has a little bit larger names on there, Yo Gotti and folks like that, Rick Ross on there a few times, pitches like that, some of those type folks, Young Chris is on. Meek Mill and Young Chris on like some higher charting singles pitches like that, some type pitches, but it's just the format as far as saying that this has the appeal. It's just very hungry within the aspects. So I would definitely recommend to folks fucking with Dreamchasers 1 and loving that particular product. This is just a hungrier version of that particular one, and it's also one that has a little bit more spices, so like some recreational type fare. This one's just not as hustle knit within the pitches behind, just a little bit more loosened up in the ability to kind of get crunk a little bit and just have some kickback or have some get hammered type moments within the aspect of it. But I would say within the pitch behind it, I think the only other song I haven't talked about within these aspects here is just Rose Red Remix, which is just a good, nice one. I'll probably talk about this song more on the particular Flamers 3 review when I get to that one eventually. But it's just the pitch as far as saying, just has Vado, T.I., Rick Ross on there. It's basic buzzing kind of venue hop in a mixtape type sense. This really works for that appeal. This is probably one of the songs that helped catch Rick Ross's attention back in late 2010, early 2011. But I think probably within the sense, it's probably a good thing that Meek Mill decided to move on to Rick Ross's label within some of those type pitches, because despite the fact that Meek Mill was a part of Grand Hustle in 2010, it did kind of feel like T.I. was phasing out in 2010, as most of his singles from that year were just not catching on. So it's just good type pitch, because Rick Ross was on fire with albums like Teflon Don and God Forgives I Don't and Rich Forever. So some of those type pitches, I think that was a good move within those pitches within for it. Not to say anything against T.I., because he was dropping classics. Did Give No Mercy from 2010 to 10 out of 10, but it's just the pitch as far as saying, it's just the shifting as to like the sounds we're going to go in. It's just a good move on Meek Mill's part. Yeah, look after it. So this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. The social score, I'm going to go ahead and give it 10 out of 10 as well. Just the blistering type appeal, this Primera Datpiff pitch, just like that. This has some great blitzing type aspects. Meek Mill continues to be a mixtape highlighter as far as this pitch can happen, just with the aspects for us saying it has the social aspects on here. Just Primera getting a hungry type version when folks typically say that they like hungry versions of cats more so than like the conduct when they get too comfy and commercial and kind of more lazy within pitches like that. This is an aspect where, despite the fact that Meek Mill kind of seemingly got more comfy, it's actually interesting that the later projects by Meek Mill, where he had more capital kind of downloads and pitches like that, were actually the ones that particularly had less hammering kind of moments. I definitely feel like there's many kind of career standouts for Meek Mill on this particular Mr. Philadelphia product. Throwback is an excellent one of those. Lego and Indian Bounce are some real good career highlights as well, at least within. Indian Bounce and Lego are some further kind of career highlights that just have like that hammer type appeal. This with an excellent aspect. These are some ones that really work for like getting some rumbles kind of going. Hard Bodies, another of those type ones. Hate is my motivator. Bricks and Ain't Gonna Sleep and some of those type pitches and Bull Witch and Name are just Tibble type conducts that just further songs like Get This Money and some of that Datpiff primary mixtape type hustle grit within those appeals. That just nails those aspects. Plenty of these moments on here just wall to wall pretty much. Just complete wall to wall with the aspect of his quality. Just has the aspect of that particular tone. So just when you think of Datpiff, you're just looking for something for like some surf rounds. Just kind of have those conducts between snack runs, nightclub, and house party type glists. Some of those type moments. That just Friday type product, weekend type product, and just weekday type. I mean, this mixtape works for weekdays as well. Just slim pitch. It just has the recreational type fare. For the most part, it more welcomes you past once you get past like 5:45. But it definitely has the aspect of once you get to evening and nightlife, it really has the aspect of really having those thrills, even if you do have work the next day or something like that. So it just has the tones of just keeping things interesting for like breaking out of the makeshift dredge. Keeps things interesting for breaking out of the makeshift dredge, I'd say. So good type pitch. So in terms of future, Meek Mill has not really put out an album since 2021. It's been a little bit. I'm gonna have to get to some more Meek Mill albums, but there are plenty more Meek Mill. There's plenty more Meek Mill mixtapes to get to. I'm eventually gonna get to Dreamchasers 4, some of those type pitches, but there's some more to kind of get to within those conducts. There's plenty more to get to within those conducts. Like I said, I was gonna get to this product as far back as 2022. It's finally good to get this one done and on the shelf as far as those pitches kind of having this excellent type of appeal. Yeah, I wish I would have fucked with this product back in 2022 because this is an easy kind of classic here. Just fucking with it quite easily. It's up there with the 3 Dreamchasers products, pitches like that, and some of Meek Mill's albums like Dreams and Nightmares and Dreams Worth More than Money. Just a typical kind of Datpiff classic. Some of those type fares in this easy kind of staple.